All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a core concept in math that's, believe it or not, secretly running the world all around us. We're talking about relations and functions. Now, I know, that sounds kind of abstract, but I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to start seeing these ideas absolutely everywhere.
So, to get us started, here's a little puzzle for you. What on earth do a vending machine and your height have in common? I know, it sounds totally random, right? But the answer, well, the answer is the perfect way to understand the key difference between a relation and a function. And that's exactly what we're here to unpack.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the big picture. What are relations? Then, we'll zoom in on functions, which are a special type of relation. After that, we'll get into the lingo, inputs and outputs, and then the fun part, spotting these things out in the wild. And to wrap it all up, we'll take a quick peek at some different flavors of functions. Sound good? Let's get started.
All right, first up, what exactly are relations? Before we can really get what makes a function so special, we've got to start with let's call it its broader, more flexible cousin, the relation. This is the foundation for, well, everything else we're going to talk about.
So, at its heart, a relation is just a rule that links stuff from one group to stuff in another group. That's it. Think of it as any collection of pairs that have some kind of connection. It could be anything, really. Students in their favorite classes, people in their phone numbers. It's all about that pairing.
And here's the most important thing about a relation. The rules are pretty chill. A single input can be connected to a bunch of different outputs. For example, think about one person. That's our input. They can have a home phone, a work phone, a cell phone. See, that's one input leading to 3 different outputs. And for a relation, that's totally cool.
Okay, so now that we get the whole flexible vibe of relations, let's bring in the star of the show, the function. If a relation is like a casual connection, a function is super strict, super predictable, and incredibly reliable. It's like the well-behaved, straight-A student of relations.
This is it. This is the golden rule. If you remember one thing, remember this. A function is a special relation where every single input has exactly one output. Not 2, not 0, not maybe. Nope. It's always one input, one output. That's the rule, and that's what makes functions so darn powerful.
And honestly, the best way to get this is to think about a vending machine, right? You press button A2 for some chips. What do you expect? Chips. Just chips. You'd be pretty confused if you pressed A2 and sometimes you got chips, but other times you got a soda or maybe even both. That vending machine wouldn't just be broken. It would be a messy relation. A working vending machine, though, that's a perfect function. One input, your button press, gives you exactly one predictable output.
So, looking at them side by side like this just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? For a relation, one input can kind of spray out to multiple outputs. But with a function, nope. It's a clean, direct line. One input, one output. And hey, this is why on a graph, a function always passes something called the vertical line test. It just means that if you draw a straight line up and down anywhere on the graph, it'll only ever hit the function's line in one spot. Super tidy.
Okay, awesome. I think we've got the main idea down. Now let's talk about the language, because mathematicians have some specific words for inputs and outputs. But don't worry, I promise they're way simpler than they sound.
I actually found this great quote from a user on Reddit, and it's just perfect. It cuts right through all the jargon. Ready? Domain is what goes in, range is what comes out. That's it. Let's just burn that into our brains for a second. It is the absolute simplest way to remember these terms.
And the official definition just builds right on that simple idea. The domain? That's just the full list of everything you're allowed to put into the function. So for our trusty vending machine, the domain would be all the button combinations that actually exist, like A1, A2, B1, and so on.
And the range? Well, that's the complete set of all the possible things that can come out of the function. For the vending machine, the range is the list of all the snacks and drinks inside, the chips, the soda, the candy bars. So remember, domain goes in, range comes out. Simple as that.
Okay, theory is one thing, but let's go find these things in the wild. This is where it really starts to click, I think. We're going to do a quick fire round of examples to see if we can tell the difference.
First example, an ATM. This is a total function. You ask for $100, the machine gives you $100. One input, one specific output. It's not going to randomly give you 80 or 120. It's predictable. It's reliable. That's a function.
Okay, now let's flip it. A lottery ticket. The ticket is your input. But what's the output?
Well, you could win nothing. You could win $5. You could win $1 million. One input can lead to a whole bunch of different outcomes. That's why it's a relation, not a function. It's totally unpredictable.
Let's go back to a function. Pumping gas. The total cost is a direct function of how much gas you put in your tank. You pump 10 gallons, there's exactly one price you're going to pay. It's a clear, dependable connection.
Now, this next one is really interesting because it shows how context matters. Let's talk about age and height. If your input is 30 years old and you look at a huge group of people, well, you're going to find a ton of different heights, right? One input, lots of possible outputs, that makes it a relation. But what if you track just one person's height over their life? Then their height is a function of their age, because at any specific age, they only have one height. See the difference? It's all in how you frame it.
Okay, so I think we're getting pretty good at spotting these things now. But let's just peek ahead a little bit to the next level. Turns out, even inside this special club of functions, there are even more specific types, each with its own unique superpower.
So, we know all functions follow that main rule, one input, one output. But the way they pair them up can be different. Some functions have even stricter rules, which gives them those special powers I mentioned. We're just going to glance at two of these really quickly.
First up is something called an injective function, or you might hear it called one-to-one. This is where it gets even stricter. Not only does every input go to just one output, but every output only comes from one input. No two inputs ever share an output. The perfect example is a student and their unique student ID number. No two students ever get the same ID. It's a perfect, unique pairing in both directions.
The other cool type is called a surjective function, or onto. This one's all about making sure every possible output actually gets used. There are no leftover options in the range that never get picked. Think about a sold-out concert. If every single seat in the venue has a person in it, that's a surjective function. No possible output, no seat, was left empty.
So when you boil it all down, here's the biggest takeaway. All functions are relations. They start in the same big family, but it's a very exclusive club. To get in, a relation has to follow that one super important rule. Be predictable. One input, one output. Only then does it get to be called a function.
And that kind of brings us to a final thought to leave you with. Now that you can spot the difference, think about your own life for a second. What's a messy, unpredictable relation that you deal with every day? I don't know, maybe your commute to work or trying to predict the weather, that you just wish was a reliable, predictable function. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.